This video is brought to you by John Robson Guitar Tuition. If you enjoy the content, please consider supporting the channel by enrolling on a course, purchasing some guitar lessons or a t-shirt, or you can join my Patreon. Now, on with the show. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. It's all about this guitar again today, the rather humble early 70s Yamato Les Paul lookalike. This guitar was donated to me by a very generous chap called Brian, who is a fan of the channel, and he came across this guitar and asked me if I could make use of it in some videos. He had no use for it himself, so of course I said yes. I've done a couple of videos with this guitar already. If you've missed either of those, links in the description. The last one was on Thursday when I set about rectifying the ridiculously high action. It was 5mm off the fretboard on the 6th string at the 12th fret. That's unplayable. By the time you've fretted a note, you've bent it out of tune. So Thursday's video was all about fixing that. As I say, if you missed it, go and check it out. Link in the description. And now it has a really rather low slinky action. I mean, as you can probably see there, just that. You know, let's kind of get it there. That's very, very, very playable, it has to be said. I think it's about 1.5, 2mm. Can't remember what I measured it at, but, you know, kind of nice and low. Anyway, on Thursday, I said today I'd be featuring this guitar in a mix, so let's get straight down to that. And before we go any further, a little bit of housekeeping. The tones I was getting there were courtesy of the Marshall DSL-1 combo with those settings. For the crunchy kind of riffy sort of stuff, again, those settings. And when I wanted to clean it up a little bit, I was just rolling the guitar's volume controls down a bit. So, you know, fantastic. Very responsive, actually, those volume controls. For the shoutier high gain stuff, same settings on the amp, just with the new X-Horseman pedal going into the front end of the amp to kind of dirty it up a little bit more. Didn't it scrub up well? I thought it's not a bad sounding little guitar for what it is. There's a full tab for that piece of music in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats as usual, and the clip of me playing it, and a jam track for you to play along with yourself. All of that is up on my Patreon page. There's the address, and the link is in the description. $3 or £2.50 a month gets you access to all of these additional resources that go along with these videos. A massive, massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are linked down below. Before we get into kind of thoughts and conclusions about this guitar, let's have a little bit of a look at some vital statistics. There they are. An absolute featherweight at 2.77 kilos. Nut width 42 millimeters. There's your 1st and 12th fret neck profiles, and DC pickup resistance readings are rather puny looking on paper. Bridge pickup is 2.84 kilo ohms, I beg your pardon. Neck pickup is 2.99k, and in the middle it goes down to 1.45 kilo ohms. So, rather weak output pickups, but I do tend to prefer pickups with a lower output, and I think it gives them a certain kind of chimey, jangly kind of quality that I found rather charming as I was playing, to be honest with you. And you want some gain, just stomp on the pedal, which is what I did. I'm thinking as I do the evolution of this guitar, because there's going to be more mods happening to it. We'll come to those in a moment. But definitely the pickups will be getting replaced. These look like humbuckers, but they're not humbuckers. These are fairly typical of the kind of things that you got in Japanese made guitars in the 70s. It reminds me of my old Satellite Les Paul copy that I had back then. They're single coil pickups inside humbucker, fake humbucker covers, and well, you can tell that they are single coils when you listen to them. But as I said earlier, the volume and tone control. Well, I didn't try the tone controls, but the volume controls certainly work, which is more than can be said for a lot of budget guitars these days. You turn the volume control down on many guitars these days, and everything turns to this kind of woolly, muddy, kind of muffled sounding mess. But not so on this guitar. It cleans up nicely. I'll be replacing the pots and everything, basically just gut all the electrics out of the guitar as we move on with this. But there's, these perform pretty well, and as I say, the pickups have a sort of a P90-ish kind of quality to them, so I'm thinking probably replacing these with a set of P90s might be an option. Another thing that I like about this guitar is, as I say, the playability. Now that neck shim is in and the action is down, it's effortless to play. And, there's not one jot, not one iota of fret buzz anywhere on the neck. This guitar would very easily pass the Philip McKnight sock test, where he kind of sees if any fret ends are going to snag the old nylon pop sock. But no, it feels really nice to play. Nicer than I was expecting, I've got to tell you. I was thinking it's going to feel a bit rough and a bit scratchy and a bit gnarly, but it just doesn't. It feels pretty good to play once the action is down. One kind of elephant in the room is the bridge. This is just a simple wrap over bridge. It's not even a proper wrap over bridge, it's just a stop bar tailpiece, because it doesn't have, if we kind of look at it that way on, it doesn't have the little grub screws, so you can kind of at least tilt the bridge to intonate it. So you would expect the intonation to be pretty poor on this guitar, and it ain't perfect. But it's not as bad as you might think. I don't know if you can see that headstock tuner there. Not checking it with any sort of accurate tuner here, but just with a headstock tuner. Let's have a look. So hopefully the guitar's in tune. And check the fretted note. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that is just using, as I say, the headstock tuner. That's blob on. B string. And the fretted note. Again, the headstock tuner is saying, yeah, that's good. And the fretted note. Okay, so you see that's a little bit sharp, but nowhere near as far out as I was expecting. The D string. And the fretted note. Again, a little sharp. And then the fretted note on the A string. Again, so it seems the further down the strings were coming, the the worse the intonation is. But let's try the E string. That needs to be, get it in tune, actually. There we go. And then the fretted note. Yeah, it's hovering, it's flickering around, just being a little bit sharp. So, okay, the intonation isn't perfect, but you wouldn't expect it to be with just a straight wrap over bridge with absolutely no compensation whatsoever. It's not even tilted, but it's not as bad as I was expecting it to be. That's probably going to be the next mod I do on this guitar, which is to put some sort of badass style bridge on it, something that's intonatable, or maybe just a lightning bar bridge, you know, with a kind of the kind of saddles kind of cast into the bridge, just to kind of get it a little bit closer. We shall see what's available. I don't even know what the measurements are on the bridge post for this. I'm assuming that there'll be something fairly close to standard, and I'll be able to get a replacement to fit onto it, but we'll have to have a look and see. But basically I would like to get this guitar intonatable to some degree or other. The other thing that needs mentioning are the tuners. There you've got just cheap kind of three on a kind of board sort of tuners like that. They are a bit gritty and a bit lumpy feeling, so they'll be getting replaced. I'll just chuck a set of Vansons or something on like that. The nut I'm not going to touch. It's nice low action at the first fret, and it's doing what the nut needs to do, without kind of being obtrusive in any way. It's the strings aren't binding in the nut or anything like that, and it's it's reasonably well cut. There's no sort of action problems down at this end of the neck, so I think I'll be leaving that well alone. Once I've got this guitar absolutely as good as it's ever going to be, of course, with a cheap plywood guitar from the early 70s, there's a ceiling to how good a guitar you can make out of this. But once I've got it to the best it can possibly be, we're going to be using this guitar to raise some money for Zoe's Place Baby Hospice, which, as you know, is the charity around here that I support. So it'll be hopefully make a nice little fundraising thing for them. But more on that as we journey down the evolution of this guitar and how it's going to progress. But that is pretty much the video for today, folks. I've got to tell you, I'm really impressed with how this guitar scrubbed up just with that one little modification to the neck pocket that we did on Thursday. And I'm looking forward to seeing just how good a guitar we can make out of this. But as I say, that's for the future. That's it for today, folks. Hope you've enjoyed the video and found it entertaining, useful, informative in some small way. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so. And why not drop me a like while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 p.m. UK time. We drink beer and talk about music and guitars. Great way to kick off the weekend. Got a really good little community of people that seem to turn up week after week, and it's something I look forward to massively. It's great fun. I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.